Hello and welcome to the last word on Spurs. I'm not Ricky Sachs once again. Richard Cracknell with you, crackers, bringing you a little look back on today's game. I hope you're all safe and well. By the way, I nearly forgot that bit. That's sort of almost copyright, isn't it, of Rick where he does that? Yes. Bringing you, hang on, Spurs fans, grab onto something tight. Take a seat if you're able to. Spurs went away today and didn't lose. Unbelievable. Can you believe it? Wow. El Crapico, as it was being labelled, or throw a starving dog a rubber bone derby, as I like to call it. Joining me this evening or this morning, if you're on your commute, which you won't be tomorrow because it's a bank holiday in the UK, you lucky people, to have a little look back at all of that, is the man with a guitar and a voice, of course, in the top right corner there for those of you watching on the YouTubes. It is Tim Winstone. Tim, you well? You all good, my friend?
Yeah, well, good, crackers. Good to see you. I think our review of West Ham will probably take all of 4 minutes. So I can't wait for the shit quiz, mate. When you put that up on Twitter, that hit me, mate. But yeah, I'm all good. I've got 3 screaming kids downstairs. I'm in the top floor of my partner's house. So yeah, it's like being at a Spurs home game when you actually win. It's just you're not expecting it to be good, but actually this is great. So yeah.
Excellent. Let's hope that they raid the room like the like the kids that time when BBC News was talking to the North Korea correspondent, and they come marching in. Bring them in screaming, Tim. we need something to fill the air this evening.
Honestly, I wouldn't rule it out. I'm just there's no lock on the door, but there might be a chair put up against it in about five minutes. So it's all good.
Good stuff. Okay. Also joining us on the show, content creator, man of some great vlogs, and George. Anything else to add to that? Well, you're a man of many talents and many shirts by the looks of it as well. You'll have to give us a run through the rail there.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've got going for me at the moment. So this is we've got plenty of home shirts here. We've got some classics going on. Which have we got in the back of that? I've got Klinsmann when he was 33 when he came out. This is a proper old school one, not one of the remakes. Same with these ones here as well.
Beautiful.
But obviously we've got to go for some newer ones as well, and then we've got some like custom made ones as well in here from like last year's third kit that we just thrown into the mix as well. So Nike, if you want to hit me up for
George, if you were just to put up the brand of the first shirt, that pretty much sums up the performance. We don't even need to review. We don't even need to review today. So.
Just leave that on the screen for an hour.
Yeah, I'll cover my cam. I'll keep that there for you. But other than that, all good.
Please tell me you have not got that blue monstrosity from this season. If I ever see that shirt again from this season, oh my days, it just gives me PTSD. It is awful. Every game that we've worn it in has been awful. Now watch them designate that should we make Bilbao that we'll be wearing that. And I'm cancelling all my flights, let me tell you. It's awful, that shirt.
Yeah, I can't think of a single good game this season with it in, and I don't keep pajamas up on here, so that's probably why it's not there.
Mate, surely there's a way we can wear the green, because we just seem to do well in green. We've got to wear that green shirt, mate. Honestly.
Correct. And finally, but not lastly or leastly, well, it is lastly, but not leastly, joining us as well, the man on the wheels of steel, the one, the only from Spurs Kings TV, Marlon Miles. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Look, me and you, Ricky don't need to come back. we've got this sorted. No losses, so we're good. Me and Crackers are at the wheel.
That's that. Listen, as you mentioned that we are 2 for 2 whilst Ricky's away. George is holding up the Ajax shirt. Surely,
let me bring it back.
Surely that's a sign.
There we go. This is the good luck charm now.
I think I beat you that, George. I think I beat you that.
It was my favourite kit before that season even happened, and then obviously the memories with it have just made it like 10 times better than it already was.
Yeah, there's one problem with that, mate, because I decided on the final day in the number 8 bar to go via Lily Whites and get Oh What a Night at the time, obviously. we've rewritten it now, but yeah, that shirt's not been worn since because for obvious reasons. But
well, let's see where this season's European adventures take us. More of that later in the show. Firstly, chaps, I'm so sorry. We cannot put it off any longer. We do need to have a look back on today's game. There we are. Miles brings us the sorry tale of the tape. 11 shots to 7. I don't even remember that many. 2 on target for each. Total touches in the box. Look at that. Oh man, it was not great, was it? And a 1.1 XG versus a 0.5 XG. Wow, that is Finn gruel. However, look, given how this season's been in the league, given it was West Ham away, given Thursday night, and given we had 8 changes, George, I'm kind of trying to take some positives from that today, because I really did think West Ham might actually come and stick it to us, knowing that we may not be going in wholeheartedly in challenges today and offer something up. But no, it was poor, wasn't it? We can't dress this up.
100%. And I think that game perfectly summed up the positions that we are both in the league, to be honest with you, because look, I was there today. I was desperately fighting not to fall asleep, if I'm being completely honest with you. But yeah, I mean,
George, that's actually your picture, isn't it?
That is my view. That was my view today.
You say you was there.
Honestly, I should have brought my telescope, and I don't think that would have been enough either. Has anyone got the Hubble? Is that nearby? I couldn't make out who scored. I didn't know what way we were shooting. It was an absolute travesty.
Wow. Honestly, you could be sat in Orient's Brisbane Road ground, couldn't you? And you'd have probably had a better view. But what was the atmosphere like there today? Was it a bit sort of, we're 16th, you're 17th, etc.?
A bit here and there. A lot of chants about Bilbao, which was great. But I genuinely think that was like the only thing that happened throughout the match. There was barely any chance for anything else, and I think it was flat on their side. It was flat on our side. Obviously, again, apart from trying to build Bilbao, which is probably the only highlight of today's game, to be honest with you.
Even George cannot pad it out any further than that, and he was there. Wow. Tim, for you today, this really was just get it done, get it out of the way. Everything's all coming down the track on Thursday, isn't it?
Everyone kind of knew it, didn't they? I mean, I did myself a favour because when it kicked off, our soft play session ended at 2:15, and I was quite glad about that, if I'm honest. I got back for the second half. I watched the highlights on YouTube. I watched the second half, which was, again, a bit of a nothing event. And I think the highlights on Sky on YouTube were 3 minutes. 3 minutes in total. And that included them walking out. It's just, it wasn't.
That's got to be the record shortest time.
Mate, honestly, I just... And
that's including 0-0s, by the way.
I know. But, I mean... I'm sure we'll come on to it, but I mean, even the first goal, I think the pressing from Tel, to be fair, pretty good. Like it's sort of aggressive pressing has made the mistake, you could argue. But that's kind of it. And I think, again, Vicario obviously been slightly dodgy in the last few games. It's a great save towards the end because he's got to wait to make the save before whoever it was has headed it for. I don't know. It wasn't great, but again, you make those many changes. Such a massive game coming up Thursday. I would have liked to have thought had we actually held out, although we were never going to do that because we're Tottenham, for 3-0 on Thursday. Would it have been any different? I'm not sure it would have been. I just think it's just a nothing game, and when a derby like that, and we know what the West Ham thing's going. It is a bit of it just like George said, it sums up the season. That game just sums up the season. It's as simple as that.
Very much so. Miles, safe to say that's not going to be first on Match of the Day tonight, Match of the Day 2, is it? Absolute. It was a stinker, and we will not be rushing out to buy the DVD of that from the club shop either.
Mate, honestly, sorry, if there was one game on Match of the Day 2 they'd do the goal of the month before that game. It was that bad. It was that bad.
So, you know what they say? They sit here and tell us that VAR's ruining the game, but that needed some sort of VAR today because that was awful. I sat there and I couldn't believe when we scored. I was so shocked. I sat there and went, "Did we really just score?" And then when West Ham scored, I was like, typical. And then the game just fell flat, completely flat. And I was just sitting there going, oh, well, me and Crackers ain't going to lose this one, are we? So last word later, we'll be fine. But no, on a serious note, it was so bad. It was a bad advert for the Premier League. I think West Ham and Spurs should just refund every single person that went today because that weren't a Premier League game. That was terrible. Absolutely. I think Leicester Southampton gave more entertainment this weekend, and look where they were.
Wow.
I said the exact same thing in the stands. I said that was more interesting than what we had today, and it's a similar sort of level, which is mad.
It was so bad, and I think you could sense that both teams have had a bad season, and I think that just summed it up. And yes, we're concentrating a bit on Thursday, but yeah, it was. I think I just couldn't see there's no positives taking it from it. There's actually no negatives to take from it. It was just a really, really poor game to watch. And I wouldn't even, if I was a coach, there wasn't even nothing to coach on it either because it was that bad. It was literally like, let's move on to the next game, let's go kind of scenario. I sat there and I just, if you paid for your Sky subscription, you'd be asking for a refund as well, like that today. And thank God Sky never picked that game. Otherwise, everyone would go, what is this? But no. Look, glad we got out of it unscathed. Hopefully there's no fresh injuries from it. That's the only thing we can hope for. And some of the players that we might need on Thursday got minutes, especially Richarlison. I think Richarlison was probably the key one after he said that he did have an injury on Thursday, took him off at half time. I thought, actually, let's hopefully see that he's got some minutes under his belt and hopefully, he missed quite a few chances today. So hopefully he's starting to get in the rhythm thing. And the same for Kulusevski as well. Hopefully he's starting to get in the rhythm of things as well. So some benefits, but yeah, just that's going to be one game I'm never going to remember.
Marlon, if they're 17th and we're now still 16th, and Man United lose 4-3, and that's the game we got served out, what's the Europa final going to be? if it all goes to look at the form, it's just a shit off. Sorry, excuse my language.
Today's game wasn't even on UK TV, was it? And I have actually heard that there's some people with these illegal sticks, even they asked for their money back today. It was that poor. It really was. Can I have my yearly subscription to your IPTV service back, please? Because that was terrible.
They were asking the feds to come round and take them away so they don't have to watch it anymore. That was what was happening.
People turning in their fire sticks at their local police station at half time and putting their hands out for the bracelets to go on.
Take me now.
Take me now. Miles, could you bring the teams up on the screen? Have we got that this evening? Oh, right, there we go. Right. So he was 8 changes from the other night. Vicario, Gray, Danso, Davies, Spence, Sarr, Basuma, Kulu, Odobert, Richarlison, and Tel. So no Dom in that side, not even on the bench. No Maddison, which we'll come on to a little bit later in the show. Both of those out with some reports coming through, early reports. I hasten to add that Maddison, his race may well be run for the season. George, for you, any surprises there with that team, or that's pretty much what we'd be expecting, wouldn't it? With Thursday night coming, and as Miles said, just some positives with some minutes in legs there as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, 100%. If you can make out the subs box at the bottom there, I think for me personally, I was like, I didn't really want to see Porro, Udogie, Romero, Van der Ven come on at all in that match. So for me, I think it was pretty spot on to what I was expecting, especially at the back line. The thing for me is I feel like Tel and Odobert a few weeks ago were really pushing towards making that sort of first team place. And like Tim said there, I think credit to Tel, his relentless pressing is what got us that goal in the first place. So I thought in that moment he was pretty good and to assist Odobert. But when you look at the rest of the match, there just wasn't really much else going on. And that was the only thing that was mainly disappointing for me. Is all right, you can understand we're resting players, we're saving them for Thursday, but what I wanted to see was more other players really trying to vie for their spot in the first team, considering that like a lot of them are, we've got the injuries and stuff coming through as well. And I still didn't ever really see much of that. Like Kulusevski was the main one that disappointed me. We know he's going to be starting now because of the news on Maddison. Today, maybe it is just the case of him getting his legs back. But for me, I just felt like he looked a bit lost every time he had the ball.
George,
he was losing it a lot.
Concerned about his form since he's come back?
Massively. Yeah.
He was on fire, right? At the start of the season. Absolutely on fire. Overplayed because he had to be. It is a bit. I mean, we've got no one else, have we? He's obviously going to start on Thursday.
No, exactly. For me, he was our player of the season, to be honest with you, before Spence went on his little run. And even Spence today as well was a little bit off the pace of what I thought he would be like normally. But yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in Kulusevski. This seems to happen a lot every year, which is a bit of an issue. It's not always because of an injury. It feels like because a lot of his game is about him being physical with players and retaining the ball. He's obviously not really quick. He doesn't use his pace. I think the problem is because of his physicality. If he's burnt out and, his obvious athleticism, the way he can just keep going almost every game, it seems to burn out in the final third of every season. And we're kind of seeing it again, especially after his injury. So I'm praying it's just more of a case of him, needing to get back up to scratch. But yeah, I've got to say, I feel like we need him to step up a lot in these Europa League games coming to the end of the season.
Very much so. Tim, coming over to you, that first goal and the pressing by Tel on Kilman, a complete hash up at the back from West Ham. Odobert scores his first goal. And I looked at that and I thought to myself, no, West Ham, that's what we do in games. What are you doing? What business have you got making mistakes like that at the back? Because that's what we normally do. And we capitalised on it well. But from now, didn't look to do anything like that again after it, did we?
No, and to be fair, I praise a very average, slow centre half. So I would not. I am the opposite of Mickey van der Ven. Win headers, balls off pitches, that sort of thing, right? Old school defender. So I've got to say, for Tel, I mean, you watch it. I've watched it back a few times, and it is a massive mistake by Kilman. But to be fair, he's putting a lot of pressure, and there's like three phases of it, and Tel does not stop. He just keeps on him. So in the defender's mind, he's thinking. He's just crapped himself, and he's obviously forced a mistake. And even then, the ball to see Odobert, I was quite happy with. So, who knows what else is going to happen before the game on Thursday? But we could need to. And obviously, he had that shot, didn't he, later on in the game? Weak shot, but he got into the position, got past, beat the man. I don't know. I think in those situations, defenders get the. It was a massive mistake, but no one ever puts enough sort of credit to the attacker. Really pushing him. So yeah, from then on, it was just it was nothing. Obviously, the Richie chance. You're sort of thinking a striker in form. I mean, is Harry Kane gonna cross that? Or is he gonna shoot when he goes through? He's going to shoot. So yes, that's obviously a bit of a concern. And again, normally, I guess we just expect Brendan Johnson to do the same thing he always does, smash it in the net from the back post. But yeah, it was a bit of a nothing game from then. And obviously, their equaliser just killed the game. You might as well have gone to a soft play and just done anything else at that point. But
Miles, good to see Odobert get that first goal for Spurs. His first goal. I mean by that, and which will give him some confidence. Of course, as we may have touched on, not a great game, but it's still a goal, and it's still something that's given us a point today and a bit of confidence for the lad.
No, yeah, and that's the thing with when you're getting a goal like that in that situation, that can only give Wilson the utmost of confidence, and especially for how calm he took it, and he could have fluffed his lines. At any moment, Areola could have saved it, but he's calmly put it underneath his legs. He's done everything that he's supposed to, and put it. And you could see on his face he was proper happy with himself that he's put us 1-0 up, and Ange seemed happy as well that we took the lead. You could see by Ange's face he was like, you know what, that is the type of what I've been trying to get out of these players, that press, trying to get forced teams to make that mistake, and then the ball across the box Richarlison actually dummies it. I don't know, like people don't really see it, but he actually dummies it, which puts off Cresswell, then falls to Odobert, who's got the freedom of the London Stadium. He might have seen George back at the top there as well, but how much time he had. But no, it was great finish, fair play. But yeah, it was kind of nothing after that. And that was the only disappointment. But great finish.
It was one of them where you see players, he had too much time, didn't he? You just see him duff it because he got too much time. And to be fair, he was composed in that situation, which is what you want, if he comes on or starts whatever on Thursday.
Yeah, very much so. George, this with Richie, we saw him where he put a ball across the box during the game, being a little bit unselfish, and he made the dummy in that first goal as well. Whereas you kind of think maybe a striker in form and a little bit more confidence may have actually tried to reach that. The fact that he didn't and he allowed Odobert to get the goal, happy days. But do we need to see a little bit more of a ruthless selfishness from Richie leading into these next couple of games, hopefully?
I do a bit, yeah, mainly because, well, we don't really know the extent of Solanke's injury. I presume it's not too bad, and he'd still be, for me personally, would be the main guy I'd have at top. But with Richie, for me, it feels like there's games where he looks like he's trying really hard, and it comes across like that on the pitch. But when I actually look at him in front of goal, more often than not, it's mainly just headers that he's getting in, and I feel like he. Especially when we looked at him on Thursday, when he started the first half, you could see he was really trying. He looked good towards the beginning, but he gassed out really quickly. And okay, he's then got more minutes today and played quite a fair bit today. But yeah, for me, there's just something about him that seems a little bit off. And again, I just wonder if it's the case of him sort of being wary that he is very injury prone, and we potentially might need him in these upcoming matches. So maybe he's just been a bit of a foot off the gas. But like you said earlier there, like a proper striker is going for goal no matter what in some of these situations. And for me,
to be fair to him, I mean, I keep watching back the first goal, and that header back, I mean, that was just faultless, wasn't it, on Thursday? So even if he's not, I mean, he's never going to be the striker. He's never going to replace Harry Kane, is he? But just in certain situations like that, I mean, I think he really stepped up on Thursday. So as long as that's the same case on Thursday coming, and obviously hopefully fingers crossed the final.
Yeah, he's just such an enigma because I feel like when he is playing,
that's a great description. Great.
Yeah, he is good, but he just constantly gets injured, and I feel like we just can't really necessarily have that going forward. Like you just always have that in the back of your mind that no matter what he does, he's probably going to miss, I don't know, 3 out of the next 7 games. Like you can never really string a lot of matches together, which I think is the main worry for me, especially if we're having to then rely on him if Solanke is out, for example. But fingers crossed that's not the case and he's back.
Last season when he actually did string a run of games together, he was scoring goals left, right.
Exactly.
You can't keep him fit. It's just like what you do. It's just so frustrating.
He plays a hell of a lot of football in his own head, doesn't he, Richie? Whether he sort of trusts himself and his confidence and needs to be playing happy and get a run together. He just that's the type of player he is. And let's just hope he does get a bit of confidence and finds that moment for us. Marlon, a lot of talk of Kane now. Might be a good time to congratulate young Harold and, of course, Eric Dyer winning a trophy, which obviously with his social media feeds just putting a picture of a trophy up. So they both done very well. Got themselves a trophy. Broke this hoodoo, which everybody just seemed to major on all the time. It really did define Harry, didn't it? This lack of trophy, everything else he's done in the game, and he's been magnificent. I'm making it sound like he's retired tonight, but a magnificent player. But it's always been that we haven't won a trophy, but he's been so much more than that. So really pleased for him this evening.
No, I think every Spurs fan is pleased for him because now everyone who's thrown that trophy at him is now going, okay, he's got that in his belt now, especially after last year when you thought Leverkusen going the whole season unbeaten and it just never happened. That you just thought it was never going to happen for him, but they've deserved it this year, and and I think Kane's been a big part of that, and I think that's when you look at the £100 million that we received and that they spent, they're not complaining about it. We're probably more complaining about the 60 millions we've been spending on Richard and Solanke more than the £100 million we didn't receive. So look, from everyone here at Last Word on Spurs, every Tottenham fan, well done, Harry Kane. We cut, but come home. Please come home now. You won your trophy. Come home. Come and break Spurs' record and come back to Spurs.
Marlon, in the next 3 or 4 days will be lovely. It'll be lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, mission accomplished, Agent Kane. Now come back home. Come and do it again. Surely we can open. Yeah, exactly. Surely they can open some sort of window and we can take him back, can't we? And just come and do it for us.
If anyone deserves a window, Tottenham deserve a window just for themselves.
Yeah, well, we missed a year and a half. Can we bank those in and then just put them back for this week?
Bumping straight back down to earth, I'll come back to you, George, and West Ham's equaliser on 22nd minute. And there was Ben Davies with a silver platter, and upon it a Ferrero Rocher, like the ambassador's reception, and went, "Through you come, Bowen, through you come." And talking of coming through, straight through Vicario's legs, it was a soft, terrible goal to concede, wasn't it? I mean, just from Davis not really doing much marking, and then Vic getting nutmegged, you just thought, here we go.
Yeah, for sure. And I think as well, not to put it on him, that the goal specifically on him, but leading up to that goal, they were getting countless chances on Spencer's side. And I don't know if that's maybe a tactical thing where he was a bit too far out, or maybe in the centre or what, but I feel like Bowen and Wan-Bissaka were having a field day on that side in the first 20 odd minutes or so, however long it was. And again, you just saw that he had the space, drove into it in that area. And what irks me is that, like, you just didn't really see Vic go to close it down. You didn't really see Dave, like you said, Davies offer anything. And it just seemed a little bit rookie. Like, I think Bowen looked up, was ready to play it across the goal to assist someone, and then realised, hold on a sec, I can have a cup of tea here and wait a second and see if I can slot it in through the goal. And he puts it between the keeper's legs. I just simply don't really think it was good enough from Vicario, which is a shame, because I do think there's been countless games this year and last year where he saved us and is a brilliant shot stopper. But there's just something about him the last few weeks where he seemed to make the odd mistake. And again, that one I just wasn't really too pleased with how he handled that sort of situation.
To be fair to him, I mean, how many times have you seen that sort of like run, and it goes to VAR and someone's just offside? I mean, the guy, he was miles onside. It was such a slow response from Davis and Spence, when it was just he had acres of time to even make the run. It was just
and it summed up the game. Everyone was asleep. Everyone was asleep.
Everyone was asleep. Absolutely.
There was one where, was it Davies went to pass it to Spence out wide earlier, and then Spence was just like, "Oh, that's to me," and then went towards it, and that West Ham ended up getting the ball. And it's just everyone just seemed to sleep up until those moments. Well, for the whole game, really.
There's nothing more infuriating than when you're watching your team, and it doesn't matter whoever your team is, losing, you kind of take on the chin. But when you see those moments of a ball coming into a player and they have that, "Oh, sorry, I was just, thinking about what to have to tea for tonight," or like, "Did I pay the gas bill yesterday?" Them sort of moments, you're like, "Oh, come on, man. Come on, guy. This, wakey. It's your time to shine." And you see that. And when I saw that today, I was like, "No, come on, please. I know this is all on Thursday. I know this has been a long season, but you've got to be heading the game like during that 90 minutes and switched on and snappy. Surely it's there's been a lot of that."
Even more to that point. So the players that are playing, I know probably everyone knows what the starting line was going to be on Thursday, but even more so, you'd thought they'd be more switched on because we've got a couple of players dropping like flies. You would have thought they'd be on it, and it's just the most on it I've ever seen. It's it's just like League Two stuff in the Premier League. Obviously, you just get caught out. So,
and to be fair, it wasn't just that side either. And there was quite a few times in the game where I thought Gray as well was backing off the attackers more. I think there was a chance in the second half, which I think it was Kudus on the left side, managed to get, I'm not sure what defender it was, but he managed to get away from him and drove towards the box. And then Gray is just like backing off. No one's there cutting through to stop the chances happening. And it kind of just happened all game, to be honest with you, with a lot of players.
Very much so. Miles, we're going to go for the first break of the show now. I nearly forgot my contractual obligations the other night with the NordVPN advert. Have we got that before we go to our first break? I'm sure that's there somewhere. Buy NordVPN. It's great. Marlon's just setting his VPN up so he can bring us it. There it is. Look at that. So you get a discount if you go to nordvpn.com/LWOS. Go and see Nord, especially when you're traveling over to Norway. Or you can sit in a bar in Budu and catch up on your Coronation Street just before you go into the game. So yeah, go and check out NordVPN. Thank you very much, guys, for supporting the show. And anybody that signs up to NordVPN in the next 2 days will receive a solid gold Rolls Royce. Okay, that's a promise from me, although it might not be solid gold and it might not be a Rolls Royce. That's the only disclaimer that I'll put in on there. So yeah, we're going to the first break of the show. I think we have the press conference from Ange and Archie Gray as well. I think we've got a couple of press conferences to bring you for those of you watching on YouTube. So plump up a cushion and we'll hear from them too now.
Ali, do you want to start us off? Yeah, I thought, proud of the players' efforts. It's not easy. We're making so many changes and it's going to affect fluency and even the rhythm of the team, but even the individual players, some of them haven't played a lot regularly and it wasn't just the changes. I mean, I only made one sub, so a lot of them played a lot of more minutes than they have recently. So, I thought the efforts they put in today were outstanding. They were really disciplined, organised. We were disappointed with the goal we conceded, but aside from that, I thought, we nullified their threat as well as we could, and they had some decent sort of firepower up front, and I still thought we were dangerous going the other way. So I'm glad the boys get some reward. It's obviously not a win, but get some reward for their efforts because I thought in a difficult day, I thought they handled themselves really, really well. No, it doesn't look great, but we're just waiting for further information. So we'll just wait and see. Hopefully, we'll probably get some clarity tomorrow. But fair to say, it's not looking promising, but I'll just wait and see. Dom's improving. We obviously left him out today, but medical team, pretty confident he should be right for Thursday. Yeah, I did. But I think that's part of the process is to make sure these guys are ready. I mean, last week we certainly weren't preparing for Lucas Bergvall to get injured the day before the game. So the guys have got to be ready, and Biss was ready, and he played. He was one of our best players on the night. So, the beauty about today was that a lot of our guys, like I said, who haven't played a lot of minutes recently, got some real meaningful minutes, and I thought did well on the day. It's important for Decky to play. He's missed so much football with his injury, and he's just getting back into some rhythm. Pape, Archie Gray, our two wingers, Wilson and obviously Matty, and then even guys like Jed and Kevin. I just think it's really important those guys play, and then to have Biss back up again for another 90 minutes, and even Richie to play again. It's been a juggling act for sure, to try and get to a position where we've got a squad that's capable of tackling what's ahead. We're still sort of cursed with some bad luck along the way, but I was really pleased the guys that got the minutes today, they're actually meaningful minutes. I think they had to work hard, and I think they showed that they're going to be ready for Thursday. It's getting better. I think you saw sort of today there was kind of moments in the game where you started seeing him, he's moving a lot with freer, and it takes time. He missed almost a couple of months of football, and for any player that it takes a while. It's just about getting fitness, getting some match rhythm. So I was pleased for him today, and the thing with Decky is he just works his socks off all the time. But I just felt you could see he was sort of some of that ability to beat people and turning tight areas and run with the ball. It was coming back. But I was also pleased with his discipline today because, like I said, they had a really sort of aggressive attacking lineup out there, and he had to do a sort of a really important defensive job for us. I thought he did that well. Yeah, again, we're asking some big jobs of him, whether it's left or in the centre, and he's constantly learning. And a lot of our guys, I know, will develop into top footballers. It's just they have to go through this process of learning and adapting and understanding the demands of the Premier League, the demands of this football club, and we've asked a lot of Matty since he's come in. He's pretty much played just about every game at some point. But he's taken in the information. He understands the role now a little bit better, I think, especially out in the left. And again, important for us. These last few weeks we've obviously had Sonny out, and we've needed him to sort of fill that void, and I think he's done that job well. Yeah, I thought they handled themselves well. It was, I thought Archie was really good. Great to get him back. He was disappointed with Liverpool last week, but again, that's part of his learning, and I'm sure, he reflected on that day, and he's going to make sure that the next time he gets that opportunity, he'll handle it differently and better. I'm sure he will, because he's that kind of personality. But I thought he was really good today. I thought, Kevin, again, it's so important to have him back. And again, the fact that he got through 90 plus minutes was excellent. And Benny and Jed have been important for us all year to be available. Like I said, you can have the best laid plans like we did last week, but then we lost Lucas on the eve, and I need to know guys are ready, and that's why we've been giving them game time. And I'm comfortable that whether it's the back four or the rest of the boys who play today, if we need to make a decision that means one of them starts, I'll be more than comfortable in them doing that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Archie, thanks for joining us. Ended 1-1. Bit of a battle, real scrap out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It was a tough game, but if we couldn't win, it was important for us that we didn't lose the game, and we showed that and take it into Thursday. So yeah.
I mean, look, apart from the goal, we were pretty well defensively set, weren't we? I mean, you were part of that. I mean, how did you feel about the defensive performance?
Yeah, it was. There wasn't too many chances in the game for both teams. To be fair, it was both teams were defensively solid, and it was disappointing to concede the goal, but that happens in football, and we just needed to make sure that we didn't concede another one, and we did that. So yeah.
Talk to me about Vic. It was, I mean, he's worn the captain armband before, but he was the starting captain today. He's your goalkeeper. He's a voice at the back there, isn't he? Incredible save in the second half, by the way. I mean, Tell us about Vic and his impact on this team at the moment. Yeah,
he's definitely got all the, natural abilities to be a leader for sure. You know how loud he is on the pitch, and that's something that, for people in the back four, it's priceless as well. If you've got someone telling you what to do, it just makes it that little bit easier for you. And we know how good he is and his quality and everything like that. I don't need to say that. He knows how good he is, and yeah, top save, and he just provides extra communication that really helps, especially for me being a young player. It's priceless. So yeah.
And another appearance, mate, on this season of ours. And I mean, you've done so well this season. I mean, how do you sort of sum it up at the moment where you are?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just grateful for the gaffer trusting me in these different positions. It's priceless experience at this level and stuff like that. So, I'm grateful for every appearance that I get, and I just want to work my hardest and show what I can do in every game. And obviously, it was a tough game today. We didn't have much time on the ball and everything, but. It was a good game to be involved in, and definitely to get another appearance. But yeah, it's been a great season for me and for the team as well. Obviously, we've had tough times, but it's part of football. But we've got such a golden opportunity in these next few weeks, and we're fully focused on that, and especially in the games in the league as well. We're not pushing that to the side at all, but fully focused on Thursday. So yeah.
So well done, mate.
Thank you very much.
Super stuff. There you go. Ange looking like a broken, beaten man. Honestly, I really wish. George, I'll come to you on this because we spoke a little bit about this the other night. I just wish he would just pep it up a little bit, and just talk the guys up. Made 8 changes today because of Thursday, and it's a London derby, and some youngsters have had tough minutes this season, and they've looked good and they've stood up to the test. He just, I don't know, George, he looks broken to me, doesn't he? I just want him to be a little bit more of a positive fulcrum when he comes into these things, and just talk things up a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I think it should be a bit more like that, but I think. You could tell when he first sort of got here that he just hated everything about the press that was to do with this country. And I think and to be fair, a lot of the questions that he got asked were just a load of rubbish. But I think sort of that eating away at him, plus all the talks of him not being here no matter what happens, I think he just kind of is so disinterested in the whole, like everything outside of the direct football that is happening at Spurs, when it is, if that's like the journalist or any interviews he has to do with the club. So I think he's just sort of distanced himself from that whole thing, and he's kind of given the most basic answers because he knows he's going to get sort of pretty poor questions as well, to be honest with you, or at least rinse and repeat questions. So yeah, I think he's just done with that whole side of things, to be honest with you.
To be fair, if anyone ever in the chat or whatever studies NLP, that first few seconds when he sits down, he's like, oh God, you could just tell it, can't you? And it's been the rinse and repeat for the last 4 or 5 weeks. And I have got empathy for him because it's, no matter what anyone says, he's answering the same questions every single time. I get it. But I completely agree with Crackers. You've got the biggest game of our bloody, 7 years since the Champions League final. You just would have thought, put that to one side and just go on the positive rather than negative. It is frustrating. It is, I've got to say, as much as he's broken down, I understand it. It's just, you could just tell he's just like, oh, for God, here we go again. And I know it's the same thing. He's had the injury thing. He's had to answer the same questions every time. You just would have thought 5 days before that massive game for us, I just would have, because obviously all the players watch it and all the fans watch it, you just would have thought, just put it to one side. The league don't matter. We all know that. We've not lost the game, which would have been a nightmare. I completely agree with Crackers. I just think just park it, go on the offensive rather than the defensive for me.
Yeah, Marlon, for you, come on, me and you are quite regulars on it, as is George, as all of us. We manage to come on here sometimes and pep things up, don't we? So come on, man, just a little bit of something. I know that the fans have been on his back, and I know the press have given him a bit of an hard time, and he gets the same crap questions all the time, in the vast majority of it. But he has to find it within himself just to try and go, right, chaps, come on, let's lift, let's go. It's the end of the season. It ain't been great, but we've got something that could happen here, because we do sit literally on the knife edge of it being possibly one of our best ever seasons if we go on to do it, but also the worst. It's a strange place to be. So, fall the right side of the knife edge, don't you, surely, and just try and talk this up.
Yeah, I've I tuned out of his press conferences ages ago, but he has to remember what it was like at the beginning when he had his first 10 games and how everyone was on his side, everyone wanted him to do well. But this is the lessons you have to learn as a Premier League manager. When you're doing well, the press will love you. When you're doing badly, they want to eat you alive. And it happens at any club. It's not just Tottenham Hotspur, and it's not always just him. But he is great for sound bites, and that's what the problem is at the moment, is that everyone's he gives people that reaction, and now they want that reaction. But today he can kind of be like, well, we've got a 1-1 draw. 2 teams have not been great. You know what? This is all preparation for Thursday. Just be a bit more upbeat about it. And I could tell that he was, like I said earlier, he was relieved when that first goal went in. You could tell by the way he celebrated that that's the first time I've seen him like that for weeks. So, you know, you just come out and just be a bit more, yep, they did well. We're taking this into Thursday, and be a bit more upbeat. You've actually got a result today. You haven't lost. You haven't had to go in this press conference and be like, oh, it's another defeat. It's another this. It's another that. You've got a point, and actually a very good point when we look at the grand scheme of things, because, yes, we don't want to be 17th, but probably West Ham are just slightly worse than what we have been this year. And it showed. It really did show. So, look, I'm until Thursday happens and we'll see what Ange's like then I kind of go, but yeah, I tuned out 8 weeks ago, months ago with Ange. So, but it is what it is now. I'm just getting on with it, and I think he is as well.
Has anyone ever like experienced this with other clubs? I can't think of any other club. I mean, it's one of those things. I said this in the last pod I went on. Because the Champions League teams have not dropped out, we probably would have gone out to like a decent-ish Champions League team that would have dropped out the Champions League. It's just the weirdest mix, isn't it, of like being like really bad in the league but a chance to get Champions. It's unheard of, isn't it? This season, I've never known it like this ever.
No. Yeah, it's a very, very strange mix of what could be both sides of this coin. It really is. Anyway, look, trying to wrap up this West Ham game, it won't leave us. It's been going on since 2:00 this afternoon. For God's sakes, man. George, that second half, you was there today, as you said. Not much really happened in the second half. Let's be honest. Well, I say you was there. Look at that. From your seat, did you have the Hubble telescope out to see what was going on? I'll breeze straight over to that free kick right at the end, because you're just thinking to yourself, I know what's coming here. And we had a brilliant Vic save as well in that second half. The goalkeeper's life, isn't it? You're either really in the mud or you're the hero. So just to close out the West Ham game, that's that free kick at the end.
My heart sank because as soon as we gave that free kick away, I genuinely was like, "Oh no, this is happened again. We've just given them the chance," especially knowing who was on that pitch in Ward-Prowse, because his free kick technique is just ridiculous. And the moment he placed that ball down, and all right, yes, the view was a million miles away, but even where I was, I could still see that is the perfect position for him to get that over into that top left corner. And I can't lie to you, I just had this awful gut feeling that like, it's just classic Spurs. It's happened again. We've given away a stupid foul on the edge of the area when we really shouldn't have done. And I was just so relieved to see that not go in the back of the net, because it was pretty close as well, to be honest with you. So that was probably the most exciting thing that happened in the second half, but for a very bad reason on our side. And at that point, just grateful to take the 1-1 draw.
Watching the game at the end, you could just, from about 80 minutes on, the camera showed West Ham fans leaving in their droves, and it really doesn't help that ground, but those seats are white because they just stand out so much when they're empty, don't they? And it was like everybody's just gone, pub. Yeah, pub, go on then. And it was just, I mean, how many people was in that ground at the full-time whistle? Because West Ham fans couldn't even be bothered to boo at the end of it. It was just like, boo, and that was it, and off they went.
I'm pretty sure it was half gone, genuinely, like half gone by the time that final whistle went. I couldn't even hear the whistle. It was just like, no one knows what was going on. We were just like, right, is it time to go? Yeah, all right, let's get out of it. Let's go.
Well, look, to sum up today, I know we've been a little bit down. There's a couple of comments in the section on the side of the screen there as well, and yeah, we have been a bit moany about that. But as I said earlier, that look, to be fair, given where we are, given what's happened in the season, given Thursday and the 8 changes, I'll actually take that draw today. So, the actual quality of the game was very poor fare, but given everything taken into consideration, that draw will do us, because I was actually fearing the worst with it. So, there you go. Right. Listen, we'll take our second and last break for those of you on audio. And in this last section, we will now look ahead to Thursday and a trip to Norway, to the plastic pitches. Tim, I'll come to you first, because you've knocked up a few ditties and a few songs for us, haven't you, going into Thursday, just to try and raise the spirits, raise the mood once again, like last Thursday, which was absolutely magnificent.
Unbelievable.
By the way, was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, I went on Thursdays with my best mate from school. He's been a Spurs fan like me since he was like 4, and wasn't playing. And it was, I think everyone's sort of just looking at Twitter and Instagram and stuff. It was the best atmosphere I've ever experienced on that ground. It was unbelievable from minute 1 to before the game, right at the end. It was, like I said, this contrast thing. It's so weird. It was so good. And so me and my mate, I got to have a shout out to @Henners. So we rewrote Spurs on the way to Wembley and the Oh What a Night, which we used to love. Again, originally we wrote this about Arsenal when we finished 4th, we finished 5th, as in Oh What a Night, playing on a Wednesday night, not on a Thursday night. And now we've gone with playing on a Thursday night, but going to Bilbao. So you can still make it work. And there's a shout out to I'm going to put it in Twitter. So we rewrote this. I played it at Forest. So we wrote the whole song. It's on YouTube. So I'll add the links to the YouTube thing and when the Spotify goes out. Someone's come up with a better verse and a chorus than I could ever come up with. So we're going to record it in the next couple of days. I think Song Sheets are going to send it out just to try and drive up the mood a little bit. But yeah, it was just, again, Thursday was just unbelievable. I'm sure the guys that were there as well, just unbelievable. Your flag, seeing the TiVo. I mean, yeah, I know you said it on the last pod, but the Arsenal TiVo was definitely from Timu. It was a shocker, wasn't it? And I just felt like, I know it's a different rate competition, but I think we stood up again. Within 2 days, you saw the difference between an atmosphere and not. And I know everyone's hammered us for our atmosphere, and rightfully so. But we've also lost almost 20 games this season in the league, so it's understandable. And Arsenal, top 2 in the Premier League. So a big shout out to anyone that's at the game on Thursday. It was unbelievable, and hopefully it'll be the same away as well. So yeah, we just, again, we'll note them out, but we've rewritten Spurs on the way to Bilbao, and hope everyone likes it. Simple as that.
Marlon, we got a bit of this, haven't we? Coming up, have we got a bit of video to go with this to bring everybody? Super stuff. Tim, all I can say is thank the Lord the final's not in Zaragoza, because I just don't think that would scan in with it like Bilbao just about does, but it does. It scans in.
Just to make a point, Crackers. So this just sums up our season. James is on plays at the stadium as well, so on the podcast. So we played that like before and after the Forest game, right? And it just sums it up. I mean, I played in the stadium for 3 years. Even under Conte football, it was terrible, but we were getting wins. And you just got this vibe out that. Obviously, yeah, you play it Thursday. It's different. I didn't play on Thursday, but it just sort of sums it up really, because that song would kick off, wouldn't it? And it's just it's where we are. It's just where we are in the league, and it just shows you what the league form does. Because having played there for 3 years, if it's good, it's absolutely amazing. If it's bad, it's not great. There's loads of people behind the camera and stuff, but I don't know. Hopefully, we can. I don't know. The team can give us a bit of joy going into next season. That's the plan, anyway.
Marlon, that is the mad thing. When it's good at that ground, I mean, a lot of new grounds come in for a real kicking, but when it's good at that new Tottenham Hotspur stadium, it is unbelievable, isn't it? And you know what has helped is people like Tim and playing around in the concourses and that as well. And it is a really good vibe when things are good. You know, it does really help lift the atmosphere, doesn't it?
It's quite funny because George released a video asking about the stadium, which people have to go and watch, which I was involved in. But the stadium is only made by what's being done on the pitch. And I've always said this, it's not got nothing to do with, we can make it as loud as possible, but let's go back to the first North London derby that we had. That day, Arsenal melted. They absolutely melted. And Bodo Glimt on Thursday completely melted as well under that atmosphere. And that's why we took the lead so early, because they just wasn't expecting it. So when you look at the situation of the stadium is only what everyone else makes it out to be. And unfortunately, these last few years, it's not down to us. It's down to what's been put in the stadium by, you know, the club and everyone like that. And the stadium was meant to be this game changer, and it is the game changer. It just needs to be now filled with a great team on the pitch, and the atmosphere will come with it. And then you'll start to see things slowly start getting into. Look, we had to move from White Hart Lane. We know we did, and everyone's got nostalgia and this, that, and the other. But at the moment, the stadium just hasn't been filled with what the quality that the stadium needs to be filled with. And once that happens, the atmosphere will be there, because there's been certain games where you can see it. But at this present moment,
Thursday could not sum that up as a contrast. Again, having played at Forest, and we all know the league's gone this. We all know it's a Monday night. It's bank holiday. You know, it's never going to be the same thing. Everyone's building up to Thursday, but that's a great contract. Have we been in the race for the title or like even top four?
Yes,
for the Champions League, it just, you could not sum it up any better. And I know Crackers, the players need to make the atmosphere, and it will come. And just Thursday was just so good. It's just such a stark contrast between both. Honestly,
and it is, because if you go back to the season where Conte was fighting for top four, those last few games at the stadium,
unbelievable.
Everyone forgets because we've not had any more good moments in between. But when we do, we will literally make noise, and we will. And Thursday was a prime example. That's why I wasn't surprised, because everybody, no matter where you sat, whether you were Levy in, Levy out, Ange in or Ange out, we were Tottenham Hotspur that night, and we were one. And that was the reason why the atmosphere was so good. And the team, like you could see the atmosphere was so loud that the TV couldn't hear the commentators, that they had to kind of turn it down just to make sure that we could, was experiencing at home, hear it.
And it was constant throughout the whole game. It wasn't just like, Arsenal started off badly, which kind of killed their atmosphere, and then they came back a bit and then just died. It was the whole game. It was the whole game.
And yes, the Bodo kind of killed it for a little bit, but you could still see everyone was still up for it, just making sure they got through that game. So, it's always going to be down to what happens on the pitch, and it's so important to atmospheres. And I think a lot of people forget that fans can only do their part to a certain point, but also the players and the club have to do their part. And once you get both together, it can work.
Absolutely, George. Talk us through Thursday night, please, and how you see things going. We're not holding to you to this, by the way. If this doesn't happen, this is just do we stick or twist with these 2 goals? I personally have some worries if we try and stick, because that's just not us. So your thoughts on Thursday and how you can see that panning out?
Yeah, I think the main thing that worries me is that Maddison news, because I think he's been so good for us this Europa League campaign specifically. Like, the numbers he's put up during it has been incredible, and I think there's just all right. There have obviously been some games this year where you think he's maybe gone a bit missing, hasn't necessarily turned up, but I do think he is sort of what makes our midfield tick, especially when it comes to creativity. Because I feel like there's been so many games when he's not on the pitch, we just become far too predictable. It's always just ball out to the left, recycle round, ball out to the right, and so on and so forth. So I think him missing is going to be a bit of an issue, especially as we've said before, that Kulusevski hasn't really been hitting the ground running since coming back from his injury. But if I'm being honest with you, I agree. We're not going to just stick in defense. Well, I say that actually, to be fair, I said that before Frankfurt, and that was probably the most defensive, resilient Spurs I've seen all season. But obviously, of course, had to get the goal for a penalty. But I just think they're obviously Budo are going to be up for it 100%, being at home. They've said previously in the last few weeks, and I think even on this podcast before, that they're happy with a 2-0 deficit, because that's just, they just have that belief at home that they can turn it around, sort of how they scored against Lazio as well. So I don't think it's going to be easy by any stretch of the word at all. And conceding that last goal sort of was just that little bit annoying, that little bit extra, that, well, maybe they could do something for their own self-confidence. But I do really think we'll be able to score, and it's just paramount we get that first as well. I want to kind of put it to bed early, not give them that confidence. If they get that first goal, I really see them sort of riding that at home, especially as we don't really have the biggest away allocation. In fact, it's probably one of the smallest away allocations I've ever seen in my life.
404, George.
Mental, isn't it?
You actually needed more loyalty points than there is tickets available, which is it's madness, isn't it?
It is. But I'll tell you what, they'll make some noise. Our away fans are just unbelievable. So they'll make some noise. I do. It's ridiculous to have that few, but they'll make some noise. I'm sure they will.
Tim, it's all on that first goal, isn't it? On Thursday night. I'll take a dull 0-0 draw. I tell you what, I'll take today's game on Thursday night, please. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, right. But that first goal is the one, isn't it?
See, I've always tried to change my mind, because I'm a broken Spurs fan like you guys. So my mindset has changed between it's annoying last goal, or at 3-0. Do we try and sit back? They score one, they score two, then it's like shit your pants sort of territory. Or does that last goal think, actually, we've got to go for it and actually go on the offensive to try and get that? You're exactly right, that first goal. So, because if we were 3-0 up, we probably wouldn't go for that first goal. So, especially playing on a plastic pitch and stuff. So I'm between two minds. I mean, because of the contrast in the season, never has it mattered more, has it? Because it's either an absolute shit show or some glory after a shit show. So I just hope they do go for it. I mean, the matters it's just typical this season, isn't it? With him being out. Well, he's obviously not going to play on Thursday, at the very least. But I don't know. I'm going to Ibiza on a work event. Well, you say work, and I'm flying back to Stansted. I think I'm getting at 7:30. So I'll be watching this in Stansted Airport, like a nervous wreck. Spurs shot on the plane, the lot. But I mean, you just start the season. Even take out the season we've had. You think you've got the chance to play a very average Man United team, and I know they can win finals. But if you had to pinpoint a season where you're like, you have a terrible league season, awful injuries, and you've got a chance of being 2-0 up, well, a 2-goal advantage to get through to a potential Champions League place and a European trophy. It's just you take it every day. So. Yeah,
exactly that. Marlon, this plastic pitch, surely we would have learnt from Tamworth here now, haven't we? And this week it's got to be it's got to be training at Power League, isn't it? With the air conditioning on, as I said on the last show, just get it to -5 at the Power League and throw them out there.
Yeah, no. Do you know what? Ange came out and said, I think someone asked him today in the presser later on about have they been training on the plastic pitch and practicing. And he sat there and said, no, they haven't. But I bet they have. I bet they've been inside that dome and they've been on the plastic. They've got the area at the training ground. They have been doing it. They've done the same against Tamworth, and they'll be preparing now. So that's why I don't take. That's why some of these press conferences are like, oh, what's he saying now? But look, for me, Maddison's going to be a massive miss. Massive miss. Just throw some stats out there for you. He's got 16 Premier League contributions in 21 starts this season. And it's also, he's got goal contributions in the semi-finals, the quarterfinals, and the round of 16 and the league phase. So this is what we're going to be missing on Thursday. But the only thing that really gives me confidence is that Bodo Glimt basically have only lost one home game this season in the European campaign, which was to Karabag, who we beat. So I'm looking at it going, that was the only poor side they played at home. Maybe because we've had such a poor season, we'll come across as a poor side and we can do it. It's not like, it's not like it can't be done. If Karabag can go there and get results, so can Tottenham Hotspur. And I think we've got to go there. And I think we've got to do exactly what we did against Frankfurt. And I think we're going to be relying on Romero and Van der Ven a lot. And especially with Doggy and Porro and Vicario. As a five, they are a unit. They don't play much together, but when they do, we don't concede many. And yeah, I know Bodo Glimt are feeling confident, but I think the Spurs players are feeling slightly confident they can get the job done as well. It's just going to be in that attacking third, which is going to be, what is he going to do? And I think we've also got to try and do what we did on Thursday. We've got to beat him in the air. We've got to start. We've got to play long balls again because they can't cope with it. And that's where the game plan's got to be. But you know what? We'll see what Thursday throws up. I'm not going to sit there and look. I thought the performance last Thursday was good, and they surprised me, who's been moaning for most of this season at this team. So I'm going to sit there and I'm going to be like, I'm going to be buzzing. I'm going to be buzzing for Thursday no matter what, and I believe they can do it.
I thought of a positive, guys. Imagine we've gone away first leg and lost 1-0, 2-0, and Maddison gets injured in that, and then we've got to turn it around the home leg. If you think of it that way, you would hope that the work that he's done in the first leg would count towards more going away in the second. I'm not saying we want to go and protect it, but at least we've got an advantage, haven't we? So I'm just trying to find any positive, to be honest. But
look, yeah. Kane winning. Look, Kane and Dyer actually winning the trophy. Kane winning the trophy. It is a sign. Just seeing this photo with Kane and Dyer hugging each other, knowing that they've won.
Surely it's our time.
It surely must be our time. Maybe they're going to pass the baton over to Son and say, "Now it's yours."
I don't want to show you that picture. So simply that with Kane with the trophy and all the Spurs fans crying in the background. So let's hope that's not the same thing that's going to happen on.
Oh man! Listen, I'm not going to do a Ricky and get a score prediction off of you, but I'll finish with you, George. Fancy it Thursday night? Quietly confident, or where are you with it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quietly confident for sure. I mean, I'm always a fairly confident person in Spurs, to my detriment, to be honest with you. But I kind of see this game going as a draw, to be honest with you. Not the same way today went, but you definitely think there'll be a lot more intensity. I just think with all the elements of, them being at home, the artificial pitch, the fact that they got that one goal, I think they're going to score for sure. But I do fancy us as well. Us as well. So I see the actual game finishing itself a draw, but obviously that's all it takes for us, really. So I'm just happy and confident that we'll be on our way to Bilbao.
Let's hope. Let's see.
Fingers crossed. Touch wood.
Yeah, let's see. You might have me again next Thursday night. Let's see. Well, I think Marlon and I are going to lock Ricky up in a wardrobe somewhere in Cyprus. Yeah. Keep him away from the air because we're 2 for 2 at the moment. No losses. So I'm telling you, I'll be back to host on Thursday night. Okay, whether Ricky's here or not, I don't care. If I tell you that, it's got to keep the good luck going, hasn't it? Surely. All right, listen, I said earlier, because of there wasn't that much to actually talk about in the West Ham game, and we've had the preview, I'm bringing back the shit quiz just for a one-off special, a little shit quiz for you. I know a few of you wanted it to come back. As somebody's just said, look, new presenter bounce. That's it. Yeah, first 10 shows that I do, unbeaten. That's it. And then it all goes downhill from there. All right. Okay. Are you ready for the shit quiz? Are you all aware of what the shit quiz is? Who's a virgin to the shit quiz?
I don't think I have. So I've been
legendary.
Tim, you ever played one before?
I think I might have played the one where Ricky threw herself off the chair, mate. That might have been the one. I'm not quite sure, but I mean that's the sort of reaction you get, Crackers. So,
all right, here we go. So this one this evening. Now you're up against the people watching as well in the comments. Apologies to those listening back on the podcast, but it's you three versus the comments to see who gets the answers to these first. Okay. 5 questions for you, and the shit quiz is called Stop Hammer Time. Okay, now I'm going to give you 5 hammer-related music questions. See if you can get the answer for it before a comment appears in the sidebar there. Okay, so here we go. You're working together, you three. Question number 1. This man was born Stanley Kirk Burrell. Stanley Kirk Burrell. That's his real name. Released a song in May 1990 called You Can't Touch This.
MC Hammer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well done, Tim. You're in. Oh, you just about beat Nick and Mel there, but we're typing away furiously. And Mike Warmington as well. Got MC.
I might have to get hard carried in this. I'm so bad at music.
All right. Question number 2. Released in 1984 by Queen. And this song peaked at number 13 in the charts. Remember, Stop Hammer Time. All related to hammers. Released in 84 by Queen. Peaked at number 13 in the charts.
Break free.
No. There we are. Nick and Mel's beat you 3 to it. The hammer to fall. There you go. Well done, Nick and Mel, working together. Oh, it's turned into a pop quiz. It's like the lockdown days again, isn't it?
It's the best part,
Number 3.
Best part of the season, Crackers.
Number 3 on Stop Hammer Time. Okay. He wrote the 90s TV show theme tune for Miami Vice. They're all hammer related, don't forget. He wrote the theme tune. No. He wrote the theme tune to Miami Vice in the 90s. In the 90s. Any clue with that? Anybody coming into the comments here? There we are. Nick and Mel. Look at this. Look at this.
This is a Porsche. I was born in 97. I'm sure.
It was Jan Hammer. Well done. And well done, Harmik Voskanian. Well done. Everybody's in. Right. Good stuff. Number 4. They wrote 9 musicals, including Oklahoma, Carousel, The Sound of Music, and South Pacific.
I'm not a musical fan, boys.
Who wrote the musicals? All hammer related. Marlon, I can hear the wheels turning. 9 musicals. There you are. Stubber Spur has got it. Well done. Rogers and Hammerstein. Well done. Well done. Nick and Mel in again.
We're getting battered here, boys. This is a Porsche.
You're getting battered by the viewers. Well done, viewers. Okay.
It's Spurs Liverpool all over again. I can't.
Starting off well.
You went 1-0 up. Yes.
Focus, George.
I'm going to compel you all to put that blue shirt on at the end of this quiz with the bashing you've had.
Anything but.
Number 5, finally. Okay. Released in 1986 by Peter Gabriel, it received a record 9.
Sledgehammer.
Yes, there you go. Tim's in.
Look at us. We did so well. What a team. What a team.
Well done.
That's not 5.
Super stuff. Right, okay, all over. Well done, Sarah G, because I know Tim can shout it a lot quicker than people can type it. Nick and Mel, they were 5 for 5 on that as well. Well done, super stuff. Right, so listen, On to Thursday. We draw a line under today. We all go again. Premier League Tottenham is no more for the rest of this week, and we all put on our European hats and off we go. Good stuff. Have we got any more YouTube videos from Tim at all? Was it just that one, or have we got any further ones, Marlon?
I've got 2 more, but I'll play them at the end.
Play them at the end. We'll play you out. We'll play you out with a bit of uplifting Tim
End on the
Winstone.
positive. End on the positive.
End on the positive. Yeah, leave them wanting more. Good stuff. Tim, where can people find you on the socials and with the guitar?
Just the usual really. So it's Tim_Winstone on YouTube. So all the stuff that I've done with song sheets and my own stuff that I've written with Henners is on my YouTube channel. So it's all free. Again, it's on SoundCloud as well. It's just Tim_Winstone. So all the Spurs stuff, all the original like Chas and Dave remakes, God rest their souls, and all the stuff the Kudasevsky Scon, Richie song, etc. It's all on a couple of YouTube playlists. So just go to my channel and then you'll be able to. There's live stuff. There's all the stuff we've done. We've put videos out on Twitter, etc. So it's just Tim_Winstone on YouTube is probably the best place to go.
Marvelous. George, thank you very much. And where can people find you and your good work?
Well, thank you for having me and being such a wonderful host in Ricky's shocking absence on this show. But for myself, it's literally my name. You can see it there. It's George Achillea pretty much across everything. I'm trying to post a bit on TikTok more, but a lot of YouTube videos. Like Marlon said earlier, had him down for a couple of the videos. There's still a couple more from that shoot to be released actually coming up. It's just with games coming around so quickly with the Europa League, it's been difficult to get them edited. But I have a 5 Arsenal fans versus 1 Spurs fan video. We did a keep, sell, loan Spurs coming up. And I believe there is also 1 more. So yeah, plenty of content to come on my YouTube channel.
George, I assume you're going to video. We're going to Belder Glint. I assume you're going. Are you going?
I'm actually not, sadly. I didn't get the bloody points to go. Otherwise, that would have been an incredible vlog going up to the Arctic Circle.
What about the final that you've already booked? Because you're optimist.
No, I'm fine. I can admit it. I've booked my trip.
You won't be the only one. You won't be the only one. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So the vlog may or may not be happening, depending on what the outcome is on Thursday. But if we get there, touch wood and everything, that is going to be an all-timer. I pray. Fingers crossed.
5 Arsenal fans versus 1 Spurs fan sounds an interesting video. Back in the 1980s, when I lived on Tottenham High Road above the Ball pub, that quite often happened. But you would have never seen it on YouTube. Let me tell you.
No, I had George down, and to be fair, he was up for going 1v5 against all of them, and it's really funny. So I can't wait to put that out. To be honest with you, and potentially some more videos like that going forward.
Excellent stuff. And how times have changed from the 70s and 80s when that meant something completely different. We live in much more enlightened, better times now, let me tell you. Marlon, thanks as ever for throwing up all the VT and all the graphics and seamless once again. Seamless. Me and you, Padre. Me and you. 2 for 2. Come on. Where can people find you?
Definitely. No, thank you for hosting as well, Crackers. It's been an absolute pleasure. Ricky, you kind of missed, not fully, no, seriously, but yeah, thank you to the 4,000 of you that have been watching us as well tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure against all across all socials. But yeah, you can find me at Spurs Kings TV. But Crackers, been an absolute pleasure.
Brilliant stuff. I thought after today it would be just us 4 gathered round laptops and microphones. I thought, who the hell would want to come in and listen to that being spoken about? But the fact that 4,000 of you brave souls tuned in, and of course all you guys that listening on the pod as well, thank you as ever for all your support and all your lovely comments and downloads and everything else. Marlon, play us out this evening with a couple more from the one, the only, Mr. Tim Winstone. Come on, you Spurs.
Oh, what a night.